This is the Foolish Optimist podcast. I am your host, Amy McDonald. This is our third episode with our civilians behind the candidates. And we have Robert Arnold today. He's a writer, a poet, and an activist from, is it Helena or Helena?
Helena,
Arkansas. He blends Southern storytelling with political fire. And he is currently, the reason why I wanted to talk to you today is because you are writing for political candidates, and that kind of fits in with what we're doing here, talking to other candidates. How are you? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
We have a heat wave in New York. Everything is fine.
It's 104. It's 104 degrees here.
Yeah, it's 102 here. So
yeah,
don't want to show off or anything. We're exponentially further north.
I will say the heat there is different because it's like being in an oven the whole time. This whole time it's being in an oven.
I saw a tweet that was like, have you ever been to North Carolina in August? And the follow-up was like, it's like, if you've ever been cremated, you'll understand the heat. And I'm like, that's actually more like New York than North Carolina.
Arkansas is bad because it's humid. It's very humid.
Yeah.
To be fair, so is New York's not humid. But it is just, there's so much concrete. It's just different.
I know.
And you just can't get away from it. Everything's so tall.
I've been slowly plotting with a handful of people, a like renegade tree planting brigade. We would definitely get arrested because we would have to like dig up the ground. But that's my plan.
I think you should. I think you should just install fans.
We have fans everywhere. I got a fan behind me.
Yeah, but not on the street. I mean, there needs to be.
We have fans in like the subway.
Thank God that people would die.
Yeah, people do die, unfortunately. Yeah.
Can we talk about a couple of things that are unrelated?
That are like related to the podcast or unrelated to heat?
Unrelated to heat or the podcast, really.
Oh, okay.
I want a couple of things. And maybe your listeners can help me out. One,
okay.
I really like this pen. It's my favorite pen I've ever written with. And it's Sharpie, but I can only find it in rose gold. It's the metal version, right?
Okay, Sharpie brand. Hopefully.
I have these that are plastic and they're fine. Yeah. But something about the weight of this one, I like the way it writes. I would like to have this in black. So I don't know if we have any pull with the Sharpie people, but I'd like this in a different color.
I don't know if any of the Sharpie CEOs are listening, but we'll send it to them, We'll request. I'm also using a Papermate that I found that's very nice, but I don't have a top to it, so it's going to die at some point, but it's quite lovely.
I like these. I have this thing. It's like a nothing, right? It's just a piece of leather that wraps up my notebooks, my small notebooks
in there.
Yeah, I like this. I use these for everything. And I want something like that for my legal pads.
Oh, they're out there. You can find that's an Etsy find. Go find an Etsy witch. Order from her. She'll bless it.
So they make them in like A4, which is not quite big enough. The biggest I can find. So I may have to have one custom made. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so sometimes leather make the tanners who listen to.
And I want it to be like this. Like, I don't want it like real structured. I want it like an old, like children from a bygone era and their book straps.
And then you can tie it up and throw it over your shoulder. Yep.
Yeah. It's my favorite thing. And then when I lay it out, it lays flat and I can set my.
Nice.
It's dumb. It's just one of the things that I like. I can't help it. It is what it is. Okay. Let's talk
about politics.
Let's talk politics.
How'd you get into politics? Why do you care about politics? Why are you, big philosophical question, why are you the way that you are?
Oh, gracious. Well,
Foolish Optimist / therapy.
Sure. Well, it started when I was young. I'm into politics because my job required me to follow it very closely, and not really politics so much as that, the economy. I have a degree in economics. So working with markets and doing market forecasting and commodities projections and things requires you to watch geopolitical movement and what's happening closely and also accurately. Like you don't have eh, you don't have the luxury of being biased on it for the most part. Like things are either going to happen or not happen.
Mhm.
And and when your real life job depends on what's this market going to do based on, some of these market trends. And a lot of it is political. I mean, of course, everything that happens is political. So paying such careful attention to that makes you really aware of politics. And then it makes you very mad about politics whenever people are misinformed intentionally. You can just tell people what's up or why you're doing stuff. They're very obviously, there's going to be no decision that's made that's going to make everybody happy. It's going to hurt one group of people and help another group of people. Uh, and I think people probably understand that, you know, it's, but
Extent.
where's the most good going to be done? Hey, we're going to hurt billionaires a little bit because we're going to provide health care. And we just don't have a government that works the way it's supposed to. And because I'm a huge, you know, American history nerd, that's also a bigger part of it. So I get recently the politics is because of work and being so close to that. It has developed and morphed into more than that because I started putting the historical context, which I think at some point, and you're probably like this, you start to think that everybody is thinking the same way. Like, well, you learned this, right? Like,
You
this
must
makes
have,
sense.
right?
Sure.
No.
And then you realize that most people's opinion is just handed to them by,
Yes.
and it may not be fair to say most people, the loudest people, you find out their opinion was just handed to them by either whatever news show they watch or podcast they listen to. And there's not a lot of research or nuance or understanding of, especially thing like the Federalist Papers. And so you see these trends that go on because Joe Rogan or Schultz or whatever said, we're not a democracy. Well, then that's
Yes.
what everybody talks about for 6 months or a year. And well, you don't actually think that. Somebody just said that you agreed with them because you like them and you didn't
And
go do
you
the
like this
work.
little like sound bite. You knew it
You
would
think
be a
it
good
makes you
sound.
sound cool. You
Yeah.
think it makes you sound somehow more intelligent or more learned than the next person. And because a lot of people that just assume that everybody knows we're a democracy, when you say that to them, they don't have a great retort because they're just normal people,
Yeah.
that didn't listen to that podcast. They're like, well, of course we're a democracy. And then they always say something crazy like anyway, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's, because we've talked about this. So that it's
Yes.
my least favorite thing that people say.
It is.
It's
Well,
extra
it's also
dumb.
something that is very easy. It's quippy. It's short, and it grabs people's attention. If you say the United States isn't a democracy, people are like, "What?" You're like, "Well,
I also think
it is."
I think there's a deeper theory behind it in that Peter Thiel, the robot, doesn't like democracy, and neither does Curtis
Yeah.
Yarvin. And since those are
Yeah.
the guys that drive a lot of those talking points, and they think that they're so goddamn smart that everybody should just listen to them, you know?
And
And
they
then,
are. What do you mean?
of course, sorry, Peter.
He's listening.
Hey, of course he is. And that's their theory behind it. It's like, oh, well, of course, these smart people should make decisions and not these dumb dumbs.
Yeah.
And, but they're robots. And so they're,
Yeah.
they're like top line economists, that don't give a shit about the workers. They're like, what can we do to drive the revenue that's
Well,
those
and
guys.
it is a side by side comparison, right? It's the same as Elon Musk thinking that government can run as a company, which it can't because there's human lives at stake. Like this is not in top line economists don't care about the human lives. They really don't. They
Did I
sorry if
just
that's
cancel out of that? No, that's 100% correct. I think it's not only though that government shouldn't operate as a business. they really can't. Functionally, a government
No, it's impossible. Mathematically,
can't.
it will not work.
So I read a thing that essentially is what is it that these Republicans and whatever, whoever it is, the people that call themselves fiscally conservative, let's say that there was no waste, fraud, or abuse in the government. What do you want to do with that money? Like what is it? Like what's your end all be all with all this money that you think the government should have?
Right.
And they don't know. They don't know the answer because they start to say things like, well, it should go back to the people. Great. That's what I think too. I think it should go back to the people in the forms of social services and healthcare and all.
Maybe paying down some of our debt so our credit rating might go back up a little bit. I don't know. There's
Quite
a thousand ways.
I just mean like in a perfect environment. Like, what do you think it should go? Should it go to
Yeah.
infrastructure? Because y'all sure did vote against that when they put together an infrastructure bill.
Yeah.
And then everybody loves it when the money starts rolling in, but it's you don't know because you don't understand what the government's supposed. It should be should think of a government as as a nonprofit. It should be zero at the end of the year. And now you have people that are mad because the post office doesn't turn a profit. No, stamp should be 30 cents. That's what
They
it
should be exactly what they should be less than that. They should like the yeah, I don't know if this is still the case, but like at one point in time, all of the congressmen could mail anything they wanted for free. So like that
Sure.
was their way to communicate to people, right? But like the post office doesn't need to turn a profit. Public transit doesn't need to really turn a profit, right? Like I live in New York City, we've got the MTA. It already doesn't turn a profit, by the way.
Sure.
Like it's not like so then we have conversations around making portions of it free and people are like, but the profits, we're not making money on it anyways. Like,
So what do you want that money to do? Like, what do you,
where does it
what do
go? Where does the money go? Where does the profit go?
it,
Like if the
what's,
USPS turns a profit, where would
yeah,
that go?
what's the purpose of it?
Yeah.
And, or the bus, like the transit, if buses turn a profit, what are you wanting to do with that money? I guess.
Right.
And if it's just give it back to the people, then why don't we just make buses free and make that
Same with
profit go
that.
somewhere else?
Yeah.
And, but they don't understand. They've just been brainwashed to think that, oh, well, if it's not making money, it's my tax dollars aren't working. Like your tax dollars are working. Your tax dollars aren't working because we keep sending money to defense. They just
Mm.
pulled almost $1 billion out of the Sentinel project to pay for this goddamn plane retrofit for
What's the
Donald Trump.
Sentinel project?
It's the where they redo the silos for the nuclear missiles.
Oh, that's very important, is it?
Not really. They said it's an excess amount of money. Hey, if we just went through and did a bunch of foreign abuse stuff, and there's $1 billion extra, you would think that would be like, hey, we found $1 billion.
Little flag. Hello. We got it. We did it. We did our thing.
They could fund NPR and PBS for 10 years.
Yeah, but they don't want to.
I know it's not a money thing. You just
No.
pulled $1 billion out of a extra. They just found
Yeah.
$1 billion for you to do a plane, and you can't fund NPR or PBS. Okay, you can just don't lie about it. Just say we don't want it. Like we hate this because they talk about it. Just say the thing. Otherwise, you
Educating
look.
children. Ugh,
Yeah, it's fucking
gross.
stupid. Why would we do that?
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I'm writing about is just what the fuck is your expectation?
Right.
Because I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't think we can swear. I
You can cuss
apologize.
as much as you want.
Okay.
This podcast gets marked not safe for children.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Good. Cause it's not going to be,
Okay.
so yeah, I just don't think people understand what it's supposed to do. Like,
Mhm.
because if we're not going to, if you want to save all this money and not have these programs, then let's cut taxes all the way the fuck out. Like, let's just,
Right. Right.
what are we doing?
Right. What
It's,
are we paying for?
that's what I hate. Oh, we're paying
Yeah.
for corporate welfare. That's all we're doing. We're just
Yeah.
paying for them to fuck us. It's,
You have to ask nicely, but they'll do it,
they, if I have to. So that's my problem with government these days. I guess there's a lot of stuff.
What are
It's
you
really just
writing
a lack of
for?
information.
What are you writing for candidates right now?
So what I don't have anything specific. I'm working with a couple of people to get some stuff written,
Mhm.
waiting on talking points and such. I do. So I write some stuff for Halle Schaffner, who's running against Tom Cotton
For
right
Arkansas
now.
Senate.
Yeah. So it's I just write and I send it to her. She gets to do with it whatever she wants to.
Yeah.
And so her campaign's pretty new, so none of it's hit anything yet. I've recorded some stuff and just kind of tried to get my voice out there about what she's doing.
Yeah.
But that is a very fun and interesting thing to get to do. Um, and
What
I
are
have, oh,
what
I'm
are your
sorry, go
thoughts
ahead.
of in like the major things that Arkansas needs to be talking about? Like, or what do you think
Health,
the people care about?
uh, healthcare, education, SNAP benefits. Those are the
Hmm.
big things. But those are the big things that are, I mean,
It's big
that's
across the
pretty
country.
universal.
Yeah.
Uh, Arkansas is number one in maternal mortality. So we,
Shit.
it's the most dangerous state in the union to be pregnant in. And yet we keep pulling rights back
Yeah.
on, and then we get this whole thing conflated with women's healthcare rights and with abortion. And it's like, I know that we're putting the two in the same bucket, but not everybody that's looking for uh, abortion care is seeking an unwanted birth. Like it's
Right.
not, or an unwanted pregnancy. It's it's a lot deeper than that. We're defunding uh Planned Parenthood. And, you
Love it.
know, I think people don't understand that Planned Parenthood doesn't pay for abortion. Like it's illegal.
No, they cannot legally use federal funds to pay for abortions in Planned Parenthood. For everyone's reference, Planned Parenthood does a million things, like check for cancer, and they do like colposcopies, which are biopsies for cancer, for precancerous cells, and they do general wellness and checkups for women, and it is and men actually, technically, I
And
believe. Um, and it's really frustrating. I took a friend to Planned Parenthood once to get birth control in college when I went to the Catholic University of America. I'm not Catholic, so birth control doesn't offend me the way it did some other sensibilities. And I literally had someone throw something on me because they thought we were going to get an abortion. And I was like, they don't even do abortions here, you piece of shit. And I threw half my sandwich at him, which was
it's a
really sad.
it's amazing what people think happens
Yeah.
uh, at places when they have no idea. But the SNAP benefits thing is going to be Medicaid, Medicare reductions are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Um,
With the
and
big, beautiful bill.
oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we have. I'm gonna get this number wrong. Probably 17%, I think, Arkansas residents living under the poverty line. Uh,
That feels honestly, it feels a little low, like
it
the
might be
numbers
low.
that
I try to be
yeah,
conservative, but
yeah.
that's
I'm just
and
thinking
that
about it in terms, like, compared to an Alabama or a Mississippi. Yeah.
I mean, 1 in 4 Arkansas children do not get uh, uh do not get the amount of are undernourished.
Yeah, yeah.
Will go to bed hungry. Uh,
That makes me so sad.
and so we have a problem with that. Um, and we have senators like Tom Cotton that spend an awful lot of time not giving a shit, and
Mhm.
they spend all their time talking about China and what, you know, how much money we should be spending on defense for China and how we need to cut these benefits. That sounds good when you're insulated from the real
Yeah.
problems and you're spending all your time on Capitol Hill talking to defense contractors and Raytheon and yeah,
Lockheed, baby.
yeah, that's if that's where you're putting your time and effort, that's what you're going to do. But you have to remember, Tom, that you represent a state that is poor, right?
Yeah,
You have a lot of poor people, you have a lot of poverty maybe not Northeast Arkansas, but Northeast Arkansas is pretty progressive now. Or Northwest Arkansas is pretty progressive now. Uh, the Delta, where I'm from, is predominantly minority and votes very blue. You know,
Okay.
Donald Trump won Arkansas, but only like 53%. So it's not the shoe in I think that he would like to see.
I didn't realize that.
It was pretty tight.
That's like where North Carolina fits into. It's like this, depending on the year, it's like 52, 51%, and then everyone, and then a natural disaster hits, and everyone's like, look, this is exactly what all of you voted for. Like,
Yeah.
actually, 49% of them fucking didn't. You
Yeah.
trash cans.
That's but Texas is leaning toward purple.
Yeah.
Now
Actually, the news, guys, the news just hit like very recently. I just saw a tweet from Jasmine Rocket about the new maps from their special session for gerrymandering. I don't know if it's gotten approved yet, but like they're out and about there. She just tweeted about it right before we logged on.
I don't. Are they bad?
They had 5 Republican seats. I don't know how. They're cutting out like minority areas pretty much. Yeah. They're just like rigging the shit out of it.
Do you think Newsom will do what he said in California?
We tried to do that in New York a couple years ago, actually, to counterbalance some of the gerrymandering. I hope he will. Honestly, here's the thing. Unfortunately, when you are in an existential war and you are in a crisis and you're not using every tool that your enemy is using, you're going to lose.
Sure.
So, like, I don't want to tell people that we need to cheat, but the motto of the Conservative Party in our country for generations has been, if you cannot beat them, cheat them. Like, hands down, no holds bar. And they've been doing this redistricting thing since 2010 with Red Map. So I hope that California throws a little wrench in their plan, but I don't know if they can swing it because nobody wants to cheat. But if you have to cheat to beat the people who are cheating, you might have to cheat.
I think it would be different if we were looking at a situation where they were trying to disguise the cheating.
No,
they were,
it's so fucking flagrant.
But they're saying like, oh, Donald Trump called Drake, and nobody's even saying that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Like, there's not one report out there that's like, oh, that's not why they're doing it. That's just what they're doing. That's just what they're doing. When they started the session, one of the state reps said, did anybody ask for this, or was this just a mandate from Abbott? Yeah. And like, well, no, none of us asked for this. So, what a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. Have you heard about Abbott's super PAC?
No, please tell me.
I just interviewed a guy who was running for a state house district down in Texas. By the way, the reason why they have special sessions is because this is a part-time job. Our second largest state in the union, being in the state house or the state senate, is, I think they make somewhere between like $7 and $10 grand a year. You have to have another full-time job, but you have to be ready to come back whenever Abbott calls you.
Oh, wow.
But the guy he's running against got money from the super PAC from Governor Abbott for a district with just shy of 200,000 people. Abbott dropped in just shy of $1 million to win this race for 200,000 people. And I didn't know that he had a super PAC. It's insane. And
the idea
he's a lackey. He's kissing his, I was going to say butt, and then I was going to say something mean because he's in a wheelchair. But so I did.
I like to make fun of him, not because he's in a wheelchair, but because he's a goddamn disgrace. He just also happens to be in a wheelchair. We're supposed to be better people than that. I'm just tired of being a better person. Again, if they weren't just such fucks about it, if
they weren't openly just talking about how the president, this is akin to what happened in 2020 where he calls the Secretary of State in Georgia and is like, hey, find me 10,000 more votes. Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, I know it's legal, I guess. I guess there's nothing illegal about it, but it needs to become illegal very quickly.
You and I have talked about this. The loopholes that we have in our government It requires decent human beings. Our government to function, and for some reason, that little thing escaped the founding fathers. Like they were like, no, 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 no. The people who want to be in charge will be decent people. Like
When you weren't getting paid gobs of money, when there wasn't a stock market that was
and
going
lobbying
to
and like, sorry,
when
I always
when there
interrupt you.
was no, no. When all that shit, the lobbying, the whatever,
Mhm.
when it was just governance for the sake of governance and, for all of the things that I think the founding fathers thought would come, I don't think I think they were vague on purpose because they knew that something like this would happen, but that we were
Sure.
supposed to guardrail it as we went and add in protections. And it just didn't happen. And so, and how in the fuck we get people to vote for this shit over things that don't even make sense? Like, you're mad about what? Like, what are you really mad? Like, what are you really voting Republican for? Because of an immigration thing? Um, Undocumented immigrants account for like 1% of crime in the United States.
You know who
Like
does the crime?
eight men,
People look like
men.
us. It's white
Yeah.
people. It's a lot of white people.
85% of crime is committed by men, right? Across the board. So it's it's not a law and order thing. It is just a fucking deflection.
Yeah.
So that because it's a money making scheme now. It's just a reason to make money and make rich people richer. The idea that we have this many billionaires in the United States who don't do anything, they don't make like it's just if it weren't people that were making shit, like if it were like you told me like the CEO of US Steel when it was still
Yeah.
US Steel was a billionaire, like Carnegie and those guys that were building stuff.
Oh, I don't know. Continental railroads. And
Yeah.
like
It's not that I think that they deserve to be billionaire, but at least they were making things.
lightly contributing to society. In a real way, but also killing a lot of people. The Industrial Revolution.
It was
That's
awful.
my that's my time period. This is the time period I love, the historical time period. But so actually recently,
Mhm.
Steve Madden did an interview where he was talking about the tariffs. Steve Madden makes women's shoes. He's very popular. He is portrayed in The Wolf of Wall Street because of insider trading. He has been to prison. He's a
Yeah.
very cool dude. But he went on a tirade on a podcast, literally being like, oh, the guys deciding these tariffs have never worked in a factory in their life. They've never worked in a warehouse. They've never built anything with their hands. He's like, I put shoes together with my fucking hands, and you don't want those jobs in these United States. He's like, the reason why people he's like, when we add tariffs and we want to build things in the United States, you want to build iPhones in the United States? No, no,
Do you
you
want a
don't.
$4,000 iPhone?
No, exactly. And nobody wants to have that job. No, he was like, by putting that job elsewhere in the world, we are allowing people to sell the phones here. So kids can get jobs at the Apple store. Kids can work their way up through it even without college degrees if they want to go that route. Things like that. And I was like, that's actually a really good point. I appreciate that point.
I think there's still a lot of worker exploitation even when we outsource, like,
Of
obviously
course.
there,
Bro.
and I think there should be a move by corporations to be more transparent about who they're using and what
Yeah.
practices and things are being used in their production. But having really good conditions in China for those workers, those people there making better money and livable wages is still a less expensive option for the manufacturing piece than it is trying to manufacture it here. Also, I don't give a shit about a company making 1,000% margin. Like, we
Yeah.
just decided that it's okay. I mean, it's not
Yeah. It's odd.
uh so that some guy can buy 92 yachts and 4 helicopters uh And people cheer for that. They're like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine." Like,
Yeah.
fuck it, eat the rich. And I don't mean like millionaires. Like, millionaires are a
No.
dime a dozen. Who cares? Uh, I'm
I mean, I live in New
talking,
York. I think I walk by a millionaire every like 9 minutes or something.
yes,
I don't
there's
know.
probably one in your building. I mean,
Oh, definitely not. My building's trash, but
oh,
probably on my street for sure.
yeah. So it's, millionaires are not that. I don't mean that by rich. Like, to
No,
me, that's still middle class. Like, it's upper middle class, but it's still middle
sure.
class. I'm talking about the fucking one percenters.
Yeah.
If nobody became a billionaire without crawling on the backs of people.
It's always been that way though. That's truly the case, right? So like when we talk about Thurman D. Rockefeller's actual wealth, he was like 1.5% of the national GDP. That is the exact amount of money that Elon Musk ish has. We can't really map it out exactly perfectly, but it's very similar. And that was enough for the American people to fucking riot in the streets. Like literally for coal mines to have bombs dropped on them and like people to literally like light shit up. And for like miners to take up arms against him. So we're in a very different mental headspace as an American people right now.
They've just made it the norm.
Well,
Like,
it's
we're
also
supposed
the
to,
media helps dictate
uh,
that.
they they they've made these people heroes.
Yeah.
Like, they they took the idea of work and they attached dollars to the idea of success. And so if you work hard, you make a lot of money. So everybody that has a lot of money must have worked hard. False, false, false. I promise you, Donald Trump's dainty little hands can do nothing. I mean, he tested two-handed water bottle. And, and look, there's plenty of people that have never swung a hammer. But the idea this guy works hard or has ever worked hard is laughable. Um, he's probably spent a lot of time in the office trying to figure out how to fuck people over or cheat them, but
They're gonna
certainly
say how
not.
to fuck people, and I was like, "That too,
I
for
mean,
sure." The
yeah,
sexual harassment is, legit with him, even though we pretend like it's not.
I don't know how people are still making excuses for the man. Um, it's
Yeah, you know, I don't
and
either.
and and then to turn around and say things like, "Well, what about Bill Clinton?" Yeah, fuck Bill Clinton. What are you talking about? What about Bill Clinton? I- If he's guilty of something, let's put him in jail.
Well, so this is our historical issue. We don't like to there is okay, so we talk about qualified immunity like it's only about police, but there's actually a level of qualified immunity even before the Supreme Court
Mhm.
gives qualified immunity to the president, but we have qualified immunity to an extent for every elected official. Like, it's not like the police, but there is a level to it. And I just get so frustrated because we have never held our elected officials to fucking jack shit anything.
There are there are very few examples that I can think of that I think would make sense for a president shouldn't be held responsible for
Like
their
war crimes.
actions. I mean, a war crime is a war crime. If you're committing war crimes, you should be held accountable for that. Now, is there a is there a plausible deniability in there where you say we executed a drone strike? It was target was missed. We did this. Do I think that that president is then a war criminal in the sense of crimes against humanity? I mean, probably that. I mean, you could probably make a case for it in the technical sense, but I think intent has a lot to do uh, with guilt. And so I think you could probably say, okay, no, we're not going to call you a war. That's not a case for criminality. But if you're Cheney and you lie about
That guy.
weapons of mass destruction in order to make money for defense contractors and get us into a forever war, that's a war crime. That
Yeah.
is, and not just even against the Iraqi people, against your own, like every fucking
Yeah.
American soldier that died is on you.
Yeah.
And everyone
100%.
that's gonna die because of the toxic fumes from the burn pits and all that. That
Mhm.
there should be people should be held to account for that. Uh, now I this gets a little dicey. The Monica Lewinsky situation. I think Bill is a piece of shit.
Not
Uh,
really a war crime.
it's not a war crime. But I don't care if the president cheats on his wife with um, with a
Was
consenting
she like
adult.
22? She was 21, 22.
He probably is guilty of some sort of authoritative. Uh,
I mean, he's been cheating on Hillary since he,
yeah,
like, met her.
I think she cares.
I
But
don't either, but I'm just like,
it's
he is a verifiable sex pest.
yeah. I think there was probably some amount of he used his position uh, to
Course.
manipulate that young
Yeah.
lady, and you know. But again, she was an adult. I don't know that she ever said that that was the case. I don't know enough about it. But I'm just saying to say we impeached Bill Clinton for
For
that
that. Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
lied about it. I mean, the perjury part's what he got in trouble for.
Always the lie.
And you know, it's a stupid thing, but we spent a lot of time talking about because it all stems from this man had a sexual relationship with an intern, and
Yeah.
we made a huge deal out of it, and that's fine. But if we're gonna make a huge deal out of it, it can't not be a huge deal anymore. It can't suddenly be that doesn't matter. If we're holding presidents to an ethical morality standard of sexual conduct, then
Does this not remind you of, what's his name? Uh, his name Joe Lieberman.
oh yeah, I hadn't thought about him in a
It's
while.
exactly like he retired slash resigned in disgrace because of a picture of him like pantomiming grabbing someone's ass and or tits, and I don't know which
Hmm.
I don't remember. But like the amount of other senators that we've had that have had like something going on that just stuck around. I don't know. I would like everyone to be held to the same standard, but I don't know if it's realistic because
Who's the who's the guy from New York, Weiner, which is an
Anthony,
unfortunate Anthony Weiner.
it
Uh,
it is no like there's a theory that your name dictates how you
sure,
exist in this world.
but here's the thing: looking back on Anthony Weiner's career, a good politician, like
He's trying to make a comeback. So just watch out.
he was vocal and
Yeah,
you know, I think kind of fiery, and he sent a picture to somebody.
send up to you. I think
Sure,
I don't know. I don't exactly remember. I feel like it was like honestly, I remember the newsroom's depiction of it more than I remember the actual events.
I was a little too young to really
Yeah.
to know much about it, but it's I only bring it up to say the standard is changed so
Sounds like that.
drastically that it's
Mhm.
not even recognizable. I mean, if that happened to Lindsey Graham today, it would be forgotten about an hour and a half.
Well, it depends on who it happens with.
I don't know. There's some pretty good information out there about some gentlemen that he's been with,
He
and nobody talks about it.
A lot of people talk about it, first
Well,
of
a lot of
all.
people
As
talk
someone
about it.
from, like, Carolina, it gets talked about, but nobody cares. I don't know. I mean, also, we're battling up against the Epstein files right now, which are, like I think a lot of liberal people in our country think that this is, like, their savior, their, like, moment of truth, that if this happens and if this comes out, maybe a large portion of the country will stop following Trump and stop being okay with it, but, like
Well, they're already making cases for him. Like,
Yeah.
they're already excusing it, and, oh, well, I mean, I think some people will be done with him, but I don't think it's gonna be across the board,
No.
and they will it's a cult. It's not even kind of a cult,
No, it's
it's a
fair.
fucking cult, and when I wrote this thing about Southern men and the idea that group of people would hero worship this guy.
Mhm.
And the number one response I get to that is, well, what about Joe Biden? Like, well, nobody fucking like nobody that I know that voted for Joe Biden worship. There's no Joe Biden flags anywhere. Like nobody's wearing a Joe
I
Biden.
haven't shown you my Joe Biden tattoo.
Well, but you're a special case.
I obviously did not have a fucking.
Yeah.
Let me clarify for our listeners. Like, you
Oh,
don't have a Joe Biden tattoo. That is a joke. But no, you're right. We have not, like, but that goes
there's
back to
not
the
a
Epstein files, right? Everyone's like, what if Bill Clinton's on there? I'm like, great. Light him up.
then
Like,
put him in jail
light him
forever.
up.
Who
Yeah. Like,
cares? If Obama's on there, put him in jail.
I don't even know if there's anyone more, like, is there anyone more universally well liked by the Liberal Party than Obama? Anybody? Bert? No. Bert is not universal at all. But I like you said, don't care. I don't give a shit. But you're right. It is a cult, and we have to. The
I
scary thing about cults is when you decide to leave a cult, your entire identity is destroyed.
Yeah,
It's
and
going
I
to be
think
a violent exit.
well, I do get some people that message me that are, "Hey, I've listened to your stuff. I see you as kind of identifying the same demographic as me. What can I do to what's my move, as far as, how do I get out of this or whatever?" And so a lot of them will tell me when I make this decision, I lose all of my friends.
Yeah.
And it's not in a my friends are gonna hate me, but I'm losing my golf buddies and the guys
My
at
community.
work I go to drink with and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're just so wrapped and that's how they want it. But those people are going to not turn against you necessarily, but like, I'm pretty liberal and I have family but are very
Yeah.
Republican and I'm progressive. I don't care about the terminologies. I
Yeah.
believe what I believe, and most of
You're
it's
on
pretty left wing.
you're on this side. They're on
Yeah.
this side.
And so, but I don't make any bones about it. They don't talk about politics around me because one, I'm more studied than they are. I mean,
Yeah.
they, unless you got up this morning and you've made notes to bring to the conversation, I'm probably not
It's
the
not
one
gonna
you
be
would talk to
it's
about
not
it.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
And so we don't really have a lot of conversations around politics. Now I've got one uncle who is surprisingly liberal. All of a sudden, he hates Donald Trump. Ever since Trump, very liberal.
Mm.
Won't call himself a Democrat, but very liberal.
I
And we
like
talk a
that.
lot about stuff. Hey, whatever.
I don't give a shit.
I don't call myself a Democrat. It is an identity. I make the joke about them being boat people, you know.
I
If
do.
you have anybody, if you have any friends that have boats, that's their whole identity at some point. They're
Yep.
just, even if it's just for part of the year, that boat comes out. It's all boat all the time because that's the only personality. And not everybody that has a boat
Oh,
is
no,
this
no,
kind,
no.
is
It's
this way.
well, it is. No, it is. We can definitively say every person that owns a boat is like this at some point in time during the summer. It is
um,
science.
it's like that, but that's all they have because they
Yeah.
wrap themselves in it. And I feel like that's what the hardcore Trump loyalists are, is that that's their whole person. They have found a thing that they can devote their life to that is kind of cool, they think, and it gives them something to talk about. It gives them an
It's a
enemy
community. Yeah.
and a community immediately.
Yeah.
It's like getting in a
Immediately.
fraternity. All of a sudden,
Right.
like, boom, you
You have
have these.
150 friends right now.
Uh, and I can identify with that a little bit. I was in a fraternity in college, and you
What
do.
fraternity were you in?
I'm a Kappa Sig. So you get this community immediately. Like you get your
Yeah.
bid, you sign your card, you go through your hell week and your initiation and all that, and you have this community. And then you have these other groups, these other fraternities that you're supposed to not like very much. Inevitably, I have a lot of
By
friends that are in
design.
fraternities,
Exactly.
but it gives you this healthy competition. Well, this has definitely turned from healthy competition to
Crazy man.
crazy.
Yeah.
And there are no guardrails anymore. I think a lot of people used to, I think you probably heard this when people probably ask you or have asked you at some point, when did you get so involved in politics? Like, when did you get so, would you care so much about politics? And I think the sudden injection into it has a lot to do with there was a time where you didn't have to be, because you thought there were guardrails. Like,
Yeah. Well,
oh,
there was for a while. Yeah.
there'll be things I don't agree with, but the checks and balances will work it out. Like I don't have to
Mhm.
worry about every that doesn't exist. And so you have to have this
Yeah.
vigilance.
I mean, we don't have to go all the way to we haven't talked at all about what you're doing in the
Do
political
what?
world. We're just I said we haven't really talked much about what you're doing in the political world. Um,
You want to do that? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, that was kind of like point of this conversation, but it doesn't
Sure.
really matter at this point. I told you, I don't know how these are going. I'm just like doing them.
I can tell you what I'd like to do in the political route. What I'm trying to work toward
Tell me.
is, and that may be a little more interesting conversation than, because what I'm doing right now is just really trying to, when I talk to candidates, figure out what their platform is, like what they're working toward,
Hmm.
and kind of where they stand on certain issues. And look, there are a few things that I just are non-starters for me, and if you're going to be taking a lot of corporate money, a lot of lobbyist money, if you're
Yeah.
looking at NRA money or APAC money, then I can't get on board with you. Right.
Right.
And it's not to say that, but so many of our politicians take that money, and some of them I agree with. It's not that
Yeah.
I think Jeffries is ineffective, and I think he's ineffective because of the money he takes. He's got too many people in his pocket, or he's in too many people's pocket, whichever the
He
way
did
that
one
goes.
really good thing for the state of New York with Kathy Hochul. They incorporated all of our Democratic
Sure.
county like clubs. And because of that, did like a pretty big grassroots movement. And like this year we have a lot more mobilization for these local and municipalities that are being better running. And
Sure.
he's not getting really any credit for that, but sure, I'll
Well,
call that out. But I agree with you. I
I
like the
think that
idea of them wearing their race car jackets with all their money down.
I think it should be. I don't think there should be any dark money allowed. I think that every dollar and cent ought to be accounted for. You should know who owns your politician,
Yeah.
and now you kind of do by the way they vote. But I'd like to know ahead of time how they're going to vote. And so I think there's some ineffective leadership. I think Jeffries probably does some good things.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a
I
monster
don't
by
think
any
he's a bad
means.
person. Yeah.
I think it has changed his course of judgment in some areas that were very important and that mattered. I started souring a lot on him when he said that when he disagreed with David Hogg about primary
Primary done. Yeah.
Democrats. If your if your thought process is not immediately anybody's job is on the line every single fucking cycle, and if you're not doing your job, we're gonna find somebody that is. And so to coddle those sort of institutional Democrats that keep them in place when you know they're ineffective, it is poor leadership. If you're gonna call yourself leader Jeffries, be a
Yeah.
fucking leader. How about that?
Yeah.
And not a puppy for corporate interests. That's my problem most of. My goal, I guess, would be to get to work with some of these candidates on either helping them establish or work on their platforms, to say,
Mhm.
hey, I think these are the important areas in the state. This is some structured messaging and stuff. And look, all of them are going to have campaign teams that have done all this like market research and this is what sells and whatever. And I think that's fine. But there's a lot to be said for knowing the people you're talking to
And how to
and
talk to them.
and how to talk to them. Because your research is going to be the same as Top Cotton's research, or is going to be the same as whoever your opponent's research is. They're going to know their talking points. They're going to hit the same things. So it's not just saying we're going to work on healthcare. I'm talking, hey, let's craft let's talk about what that plan looks like. Like I want to talk plans with these people and kind of figure out how do we get there.
How to present it to the
Arkansans.
Arkansans, and how to present it to them. Have you ever heard of the platinum rule? You know, do you know what the golden rule is?
Yes.
Treat others as you would like to be treated. Well, in sales, we have something called the platinum rule, which is treat others the way they want to be treated.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've never heard it called the platinum rule.
Yeah. It's like a massive book that they hand to you. They're like, oh, you want to be in sales? Hate you in heaven it. But yeah, that is what I think a lot of our politicians are missing. Because like you said, they have that same data. They know exactly. They're like, I'm going to talk about it exactly like this. And it's like, no, you have to talk about it the way they want to hear it.
That's what I do think that sets Halle apart a little bit. I like politicians that are politicians for the right reasons. You know, she got beat over she lost her farm, the generational farm, because of bad governance and a lot of issues with subsidies and things like that. And, you know, she lost it and she's Vanderbilt educated. Like she's sharp. And has also worked on a farm right. I have a certain respect for farm kids, you know, and so
farming is very hard.
It's fucking hard.
Insane. People are like, oh, it's just like a farmer. I'm like, I don't think you've ever been to a farm.
Especially at a level, right? So there's a point where you're a little too corporate and you're not in the field and you're running a business that is
back of house a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're in that like 5,000 acre group or less, that's work. Like you're working. You're working hard.
You're like up at like 4 a.m. and it's like, we do this here and then we walk half a mile and we do this and
it's 18-hour days for 4 months while you're planning and trying to get everything.
No, thank you.
That person knows how to work. Halle knows how to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just said the thing about we shouldn't equate hard work to some sort of virtue, but there is something about somebody that puts that much into something.
Well, so that's hard work, but you know what also it is? It's care. You like literally.
It's care. That's a very good way to put that. I like that.
Yeah, we're talking about billionaires and not working hard, but we're also talking about people who are literally like blood, sweat, and tearsing and then losing everything they've worked for.
It is a labor of love.
Yeah.
It is. You can't not love it and do it. Otherwise you'll quit. There's no way you'll do it.
You'll go quit.
And there is that gratification in farming where you plant something, you see it grow. The fruits of your labor they're gradual, but they're pretty quick. You know, you see you affect change pretty quick and you problem solve on the fly and things like that. There are a lot of steps in farming that I think translate very well to problem solving and governance. I think the same thing about people that have worked in the restaurant bar industry. If not just work, if you've successfully managed people in a restaurant and I don't mean just anybody, but if you've done it well as a career, those people can do anything. Because
I used to only hire people who had worked in restaurants because I managed a restaurant when I was 20, which was a nightmare because you shouldn't be 20 and managing a restaurant. But people were like, you're very specific about the people you hire. I'm like, yeah, because they can do what I need them to do without crying.
They don't stress out about it. They can be, you can be curt with them in the moment. You don't have to worry about feelings in that moment. Now, not to say you should hurt anybody's feelings, but you know, restaurant people talk to each other a certain way. And in that moment, it's not
right.
It's very curt and directed to the point. Yeah. And then after, we're going to go out and have beers and no harm, no foul. Do it all
again tomorrow.
It is a very organized chaos and you're thinking on your feet. You're making decisions right now for a problem right now. And if it's wrong, we're going to make another decision. And, you know, it's nothing to go to committee. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to get to the thing. And so I think that is the same a lot in farming.
Yeah.
I like that style of person that didn't didn't make a career, didn't go to college to be a politician,
Mhm.
uh, saw a problem and took the opportunity to address the problem. And
Yeah.
so, and you know me well enough to know, like, I don't just throw any sort
Definitely.
of support. Yeah, I'm not that guy. I think she's good. I think she's really, really good. She's well spoken. She knows the problem. She's great. I think you should
There
have
are
her on the
so
show.
many. I want to have her on the show. Hallie, I would like to have just a formal plea right now. I would like to have you
Yeah.
on the show. But there are so many women running in just running for Congress for one thing, but also running for like statewide agricultural seats and all. There's just a ton of women running, and I'm very excited for that. We just need more women in office, or frankly, um,
We need the optics of it also. We need to show that that women in leadership roles, like senators, and Blanche Lincoln was from my hometown. I knew her well growing up. And
great name.
Blanche Lincoln,
Yeah.
she's the best, by the way. She's really great.
Who is she? Tell our listeners who she is.
Blanche Lambert Lincoln was a congresswoman from Arkansas and then a senator. I believed when I was younger that she'd be the first female president.
That's
Now, she's
amazing.
from my hometown. She lost to Bozeman, took her seat, a
Right.
Republican man. In kind of that change from Arkansas being a primarily Democratic voting state
Was
into
that
that
during like the
Republican.
60s,
Yeah.
70s,
No, no, no,
less
no, no. No, the
or
late
late?
90s, early 2000s. Arkansas was a Democratic voting state um,
So they got missed by
through Clinton.
that big
Yeah, very
60s
poverty
or
stricken.
70s.
Yeah, mostly. Even when the Dixiecrats kind of left and switched over, and the Arkansas kind of stayed mostly progressive, liberal
Interesting.
state. It's it has a lot to do with the demographics and the fact that Arkansas, the Mississippi River Delta, is farming community, very very high minority um, area. So a lot of poverty, and then Northwest Arkansas for so long was Tyson Chicken and Walmart. So not a lot. So again, more minority up there, and those are your big. And then of course the capital cities are typically always more progressive. So
Yeah.
you had these big three areas that were mostly Democratic, and that's just kind of the way it stayed. We had Democratic governors forever. Clinton, obviously,
Yeah.
late '80s.
I've heard of
Yeah, he's been around. He's got a library. So through the '90s, I think in the late '90s, I think Huckabee was the first Republican. My
yeah. Dad Huckabee, right? Dad
Yeah,
Huckabee.
yeah,
Huckabee's
yeah. So Mike Huckabee was the first Republican governor in a while, and my father makes a joke that all Mike Huckabee ever did was lose weight. That's all he ever did while he was in office. He was not a
good
very
for him.
effective leader,
For him.
uh, but he's
And
also
your dad
cool.
is your dad conservative or is he liberal?
My dad's conservative. He's gotten more, he kinda went through this period where he got more conservative, like,
Yeah.
there are some my dad's almost 70, you know?
That was mine. Yeah.
Eh, and my dad grew up very, very poor, very, very poor.
I
Um,
know.
my grandfather was a
I'm saying I
sharecropper.
know because I'm like, my dad grew up poor, but he grew up like Washington, DC, single mother poor, not Arkansas sharecropper family poor. It's a different it is like a major
Yeah.
city on the East Coast is different than an Arkansas situation.
So my dad has a
And
l
he was still very poor.
yeah,
But
my dad has these most of my dad's conservative ideals are around, uh, fiscal conservancy and what he sees as fiscal conservancy. Because I think when you grow up that poor and then you start getting money, the idea of not being extravagant, that spending, and people telling you that like, "Oh, we are the party of fiscal conservancy, like, we are the
right.
thrifty guys." That resonates with that group,
Yeah.
uh, and it resonates with my dad for sure. but I don't think he, I think he likes that idea. I don't think he really puts a lot of time and attention into what are they actually doing? How are they being fiscally conservative? Is it just taking people off snap? He's pretty progressive, I think, a lot of times in his ideas about, like he thinks that Medicare and Medicaid ought to be available, that, but again, he grew up poor. Like he was,
It's like he understands what it's like to be
he
without the
understands what
option
it's
to go to
like
a
to be
doctor.
without. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so he doesn't think that kids ought to be hungry. Like feed them all. I mean,
Crazy idea. I'm down
he's
with fiscal conservancy if you can find a way to pay for
right.
Medicare and Medicaid and feed the kids.
And I
I'm
think if
down.
you explained it in a way where it's like, hey, if we did this, we cut these,
Yeah.
but he's also he is a product of that Reagan era of his young adulthood.
Yeah.
He got married in 1980 at 25.
My friend got married in 1980 at 22.
So
Really?
coming out of the Carter years, as a young adult,
Yeah.
not making money, still not making money through the 80s. I don't. But when you see that sort of prosperity on the high end, you think it's
Yeah.
everybody. And
Yeah.
I think they were sold that idea so well that, and then the welfare queens, I hate that term, but that's the term they
But it
use.
was the time. Yeah, that's exactly
Um,
what they.
that there were all these people that were just being lazy and taking advantage of the system, and you were worse off because you were having to pay taxes, so somebody else didn't have to work. And it's just really not the case. There are people exploit every system, so that does happen. But there's also corporations that take PPP money that to the tune of
Billions.
hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and but no, but people look at them as, oh, well, they're just shrewd bit. They're just taking advantage, like they're just taking
Advantage
part
of
in
the
the system.
programs that are allowed. Well,
They're not working either, by the way. They're at home too, just riding that government check.
yeah. Yeah.
It's just a different check. So he gets it. A lot of his is going to be around culture stuff that he just doesn't. I don't want to say he doesn't understand. My dad's sharp, but he doesn't want to spend. Dad doesn't want to spend 6 or 8 hours a day reading politics and trying to decipher this stuff. He just doesn't. He wants to go fishing or he wants to go work in the yard and he wants to.
They've given enough time. I think if you're in your late 60s or 70s, you're allowed. You get to do whatever you want at this point.
And
you should be able to do that.
He listens to it and he gets his talking points from Fox News. And I think he's read my book. I think I'm starting to, and his brother has turned liberal.
He's the big liberal uncle. Okay. All right.
And so I think that I think he's starting to kind of see that this isn't quite what he signed up. It isn't what he wants to put his name on,
Yeah.
And he's always going to struggle with things like he's got in his head that there's this indoctrination part of schools where they're trying to convince children to change genders. And I was like, yeah, they're not like nobody's doing that. What they're doing is they are allowing those kids that are feeling that way to have the ability and space to talk about it.
And maybe go by a different name.
Yeah. And it's
nobody's
going up to kids. He's like, well, that's what they're saying. So what sense does that even make? Like, why? Who benefits from that?
My mother taught middle school science for 30-ish years, 25, 30 years before she did her PhD. And literally she was like, we can't get the kids to write their names on the paper. You think I can convince them to she's like, they don't even write the date. Or maybe they write the date and not their name. How am I convincing them?
I wrote a wonderful line once that I'm very proud of. I don't mean to quote myself here as if I'm but it's what I said and I liked it. So here it is. If your ideology can't stand up to a book that disagrees with it, it's not a very strong ideology. And I say that because I just read Tom Cotton's book and it is hot garbage. I'm not a Republican all of a sudden. I'm not.
Oh no, you haven't.
No, what? Because I have an opinion. Because I read the other side too, and well, look at what and look, I'm also a man enough to say there's a couple things he got right. in the book, it's not much. China is a strategic competitor. They do want influence in Southeast Asia, but
Yeah,
competitor
but
and
like,
threat are two different things. It's not.
is that news? Is this
No,
a
none of it's
like
news.
like
The
we've been talking about this for I don't
What do
know,
you think his
probably
book's
50
about?
years?
What
I
do you
have
think
no
his book's
idea.
about?
China, walkie
Mhm.
talkie.
Yep, there it is. That's the whole goddamn thing.
I have no idea. I try to not think about Tom Cotton as much as physically possible because it makes my tummy hurt. I get a little
It
sick.
it is 100%. The whole book is this: China bad, more money for weapons in case they want to fight us.
Do you think
USA.
China wants to fight us?
No, God, no.
I
They're
think
our
they're like,
largest. They're our largest foreign investor. They've got like $1 trillion. It's just shy of $1 trillion in bonds. They
right.
invest in our agriculture. They invest in our real estate. Now, I understand the idea of not having a foreign power own land here. I mean that I'm good with that. Divest that,
Mhm.
but also we shouldn't have huge corporations that own vast amounts of land they're leasing out.
You know what
If you're
my
gonna,
favorite discovery is recently is how much of New York City real estate is owned by the Qatari government.
oh God,
It's
70%. I don't even know that
not
number.
that much, but it's I like every time I like turn around and I look something up, I'm like, oh, there's the Qataris again, again,
Mhm.
again, again. Awesome.
It's so I think that China wants real influence, but I think they want economic influence. China hasn't fought a war since the late 70s. They haven't been any sort of conflict. They Again, they've invested a large. You don't invest in a nation that you're planning on bombing. Like you invest in a country that you plan to sell stuff to. They're investing in like Belt and Road. They're redrawing their trade routes and their supply chains. They are trying to invest in their neighbors over there. I mean, yeah, they want the Taiwan Strait, but they want the Taiwan Strait for the same reason we want the Gulf of Mexico.
I was about to say they've wanted the Taiwan Strait for
If Russia started putting bases in the Virgin Islands, United States would have a problem with that.
yeah,
The
start losing their shit.
and so it's not that I mean, look, if the people of Taiwan don't want to be a part of China, and they're
Yeah,
not, and we want to recognize that, I think that we have a if we're going to be that group that we're going to promote democracy and defend democracy where it exists, then okay, like we can do, but I don't think that China. If we could just talk to each other, and be like, hey, we're going to defend their right to exist
yeah,
like this. We are not going to be aggressive. We're not going to be an aggressor. But I mean, we have them Philippines. We
yeah,
are,
yeah. We're there. We've got places.
and so they have a. I mean, they spend like just shy of $300 billion a year on their defense, but most of
Yeah,
it is maintenance and upkeep. Very little of it is new stuff. I mean,
yeah.
they're certainly investing in the stuff that China's investing in is like they had a they had a lot of investment in the Panama Canal
Yeah.
because it's trade, it's supply. Like they want to be
Well,
an
and it is.
economic
You're trying
force.
to like cut the earth in half pretty much with the Panama,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, now, do I think we should have a similar presence? Sure. But again, it's economic strategy. It's not military
Mhm.
strategy. And I think it's important to understand the difference. And
Well, so wait, before we keep going, I mean, has been forever the idea that China is our like foe, is our arch nemesis. Were you on TikTok the first time it got shut down in like January? Okay.
yeah,
Everyone ran to the app Red Note, and there was like this weird cultural exchange at a level that I've like never seen before in my life. And I
mhm,
think a lot of people came to like the realization to an extent that like we've been told our entire lives that China is a big bad guy and it's the worst. And we like realistically, that is like in our school curriculum. They're part of the Red Scare at every sun and every level.
sure.
And then you have Tom Cotton putting books out like this, and you have the entirety of Congress talking about it. And I don't know. where propaganda ends and where actual relationships begin, because like even I
China's
feel
an
like
authoritarian government
yes.
for sure.
To an
There's not,
extent though, right? There is because some of these
they have
people
some,
there are happy and that's kind of how they keep their authoritarianism going because they're like, not everyone's losing their shit all the time. They don't want to like revolt all the time. At least that's my understanding from what I learned on a Chinese apps for
I think
5
that
days.
I think that there's a amount of comfort. I think they do right by their people, but I think they have a lot of
Yeah.
oversight and control that we would not be happy with. We would not be
Right.
comfortable with.
For
There's
sure.
a lot of surveillance. They do put down
If they're more
uprising.
than our country.
Yeah, but there's also blatant, so I don't know which one's
Oh yeah.
better. They do monitor what you take in, kind of a controlled media. They
Right.
will
Right.
shut something down if they don't like, the optics of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are things that I would say we don't want to have, but we're getting there, and we're just saying,
Like
oh,
kind of
their
quickly.
version of it's bad, like, but our
Right.
version of it is for your protection. And so, yeah, there are things about China that I think are
I don't know enough
harmful
about
to the
China.
idea. China doesn't have the population. They have they have an aging population, and the one child rule kind of fucked
Really
them for a
fuck
number
them.
of
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
and so they don't really have the uh, the young people to float the economy in the
Yeah.
next 10 years, probably. So China has to kind of invest right now into economic structure. How do we get investment back into our country? How do we open up maybe uh, some labor walls and stuff so we can
Right.
get people that want to come here and work? Maybe China's not after empire. They are huge. They have more like they don't want. They're not trying to. Uh, they would like strategic security like any other country,
As
right?
all of us do. Yeah. Every single
But
country is working on that.
I think if you have assurances and you have some sort of agreement, plan, whatever you want to call it, that says, these are the borders we're going to operate in. This is where we're going to be. And you have almost a check and balance on it. I think China as a strategic competitor is not a bad thing. We need them as much as they need us. And so to isolate ourselves from them is absurd. It's stupid. Now, they do that so that we can fund a war machine that we
Well,
don't need.
particularly. Well, that so what you said before funding the war machine is that is like the general nature of globalization, right? Like the
Mhm.
globalization that we have done is now it is required that we actually do work with 90% of the countries in this world, even the ones we don't love.
I mean, you can do away with some of them, but the other part of it is we have this whole deregulation on drilling, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If we're going to drill for all this oil in the United States, right? Well, then let's use that to cut off our dependence on foreign oil. But we don't do that. We still continue buying at the same rate.
Mhm.
And then I guess we make a stockpile, but then we sell our stockpile and buy it from like, it's just an odd thing that we do
Yeah.
that just perpetuates growth of these fossil fuel companies. They are we're buying it and then selling, but the United States is buying their stuff. It's crazy. It's
It
such a
doesn't make sense.
convoluted fucking
Yeah.
money laundering scheme, and nobody
Maybe
asks
this is
any
where the
question.
fraud and the waste is in our government, is moving
Uh,
shit around
of
left,
course it
right,
is.
sideways. And then
But
calling the consultant at McKinsey to be like, how should we move this? Charge us
yeah,
7,000 an hour.
but the but nobody wants to talk about that or look at those because oh, well, that's interesting. They know what they're doing. But God forbid we sent money to fund the arts in
I mean,
Romania, and one of
yeah.
them had a play that had a transgender person in it, and that turns into we sent $5 million to Romania
Is that
to
a real thing?
it's very close to that. Those it may not be Romania,
Okay.
but
I was
we
like, oh God,
we
it
funded
sounds real. That's why I was,
we funded an arts program in a country, and one of the things that was done inside of that arts program was a play or something about a transgender person, and that has been turned into we sent $900 billion to, I'm just going to say
The one
Romania.
transgender.
Yeah, like that's all we're funding.
It's
It's like, well, that's not exactly what
true.
happened. I
Yeah.
mean, you can, if we're just saying crazy shit, that's kind of true. Yes. Then
Sure. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of, did we fund that play? Technically, yes. But we
But
didn't
like,
fund that play. We didn't
no, we
fund
funded
that
money for the
thing.
arts because when we fund the arts, people become better people. That is literally the long and short of it is if people are exposed to arts, and you know this very well in Arkansas because the Waltons in their
100%.
fucking art museum. I don't know if you know the study on that one, but like if people are exposed to arts, they become better people. Hands down,
Yes.
no holds bar, no question marks at all. We know the data is there. It is,
Cities that put public art displays up in communities that are available to everybody
yeah,
have stronger communities. It's just
yeah.
a thing. Uh, Human beings like that. That's why
We
we
like
create
pretty
it.
shiny things.
Love it. Love making it. Love looking at
Yeah.
it. We are
Love
goldfish
standing
making.
around it,
Oh
talking
my
about it.
God.
Yeah.
Don't let me talk about Hemingway. Like, don't let
Yeah.
me start. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Or Jackson Pollock. God, like I will.
And you sit there for hours, you drink a glass of wine, you eat, you're like,
It's
uh,
such a beautiful thing to do. People that don't enjoy that are, I think they convince themselves that that is not a either masculine or a cool thing to do, to feel these things about a
oh,
thing, but they still feel. You can't fucking not feel it. You just don't
yeah.
talk about it. And so
Yeah.
it silently makes you a better person because these things exist in your ear. Yeah, we should be, but also if we're going to be the keepers of the world in our own minds, right? We're going to go out and do these things.
Yeah.
We have a certain responsibility, I think, to feed hungry children. If we are making the world our neighborhood, right,
Mhm.
as the United States, if we're putting a base near you, if we're putting a base in your country, uh, I think that we inherit a certain responsibility um, to make sure that we don't have starving children in the world. And if we have the means, it should just be a thing that we
Well, in my mind, that's
endeavor to
kind of
do.
what USAID, that was like part of what
Of
USAID
course,
did,
yeah.
right? And like for the amount of money that USAID takes and the amount of goodwill that it gave our country across the entire world, shutting it down is literally proportionally the dumbest fucking thing they've done, right? Like,
The money
like
that he's
hundreds
gonna
of thousands of people are dying, but that even beyond that, just the amount of goodwill that we got, the soft power, and that sounds really crass and sad to say that like beyond hundreds of thousands of people have died are dying, but like when we're like the way that
well,
I can get through to people is talking about power. 'Cause that's all they fucking care about. Like,
I think that I don't even know. I think Stephen Miller and that whole Heritage Foundation is so short-sighted about what it means to be a global power. Um,
that's the
they're
American
bullies.
legacy is being
They're
short-sighted though.
they're such bullies. They either want to be bullies because they couldn't be bullies when they were younger or something,
Yes.
because the idea that you can cut yourself off, uh, isolationism has not worked in the United States.
Ever. Ever.
And if you want to be an isolated country, then you can forget about a global reserve currency. You can forget about having strategic partnerships that lower pricing and allow us to have
Yeah.
market advantages and manufacturing advantages. You can't have all of it. And people are other nations are working very vigilantly to reduce their dependence on the United States.
That's what happens when you double the fucking tariffs for every one of our favorite trading partners.
And people are acting like that that no one else can live without us, right? Like we are a toxic boyfriend that is just, oh, well, you'll never do better than me. 'Cause we're gonna go find out. Um, and that's the thing that's gonna hurt us, that's not going to hurt us today. That's the thing that's going to hurt us 2 years from now. If
10
this
years from
shit
now,
doesn't
5
turn
years
around.
from now. I mean, but that's the thing about this is exactly what you're talking about, right? Like USAID, the goodwill that is built up from USAID has been built up over the last like I knew when it was created originally in my head, but I think it's like 50-ish years.
Mhm.
And we just took it away overnight. And now hundreds of thousands of people are dying. And it's going to take another 50 years to build that back up if we want it, which we don't. But like if the next generations of Americans want it, it will take another 3 generations to get built back up.
And then to have Marco Rubio go, oh, well, we want it to be better. Well, then start making it better. But you can't cut it off and then say, oh, well, we're going to just do away with it and we're going to start fresh. I think that there are a lot of programs that you can say, hey, we need to overhaul this completely, but we need a new plan and we need a strategic way to put it into place, right? So we're going
In
to
the
do,
next 3 to 5 years, however long it fucking takes.
you cannot stop the wheels on some of this shit, right?
Yeah.
That's like shutting down an interstate to build a
I mean,
bridge. You got to
USAID
put a
has been
bypass lane in.
they have a part that is literally giving out AIDS, preventative AIDS medicine, like AIDS and HIV medicine, and that is why hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Like PEPFAR, literally, by the time this administration is over, because we canceled PEPFAR, we will be in the millions of people. Like the Trump's actions of canceling
And it
USAID,
doesn't cost us anything.
anything, pennies on the
The
dollar, pennies on the dollar.
oh, and his plan to reduce did you hear his plan to reduce, prescription drug costs?
No,
You're gonna have to raise the prices in Europe. That's what he says he's gonna tell the drug companies, and that,
Europeans will light them on fire.
when you do that he didn't even tell them they would have to reduce it in the United States. They would have to raise it other places so that the offset was different.
Yeah,
So the offset wasn't as bad. Like, what brother, where did you learn economics? Well, obviously you didn't. But, like, where are you getting
yeah.
this stuff? I d it's it's like somebody gave him uh, I don't even know, like, it's like somebody told him that Peter Navarro's book was, "Oh, this is the standard by which everyone, uh, reads economics." It's like, "Great, then I'm just gonna study this thing." And there's no information in it. It's just tariff, 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 tariff.
I don't know
Um,
who that is.
Peter Navarro, are you ready for this?
I'm looking him up right now.
Peter Navarro is the economic, advisor to the president. Peter
Uh,
Navarro wrote a book about China that he self-published on Amazon. Jared Kushner was tasked with finding the economic advisor to the first Trump administration.
okay.
He went on Amazon and searched for books on economics that he thought matched Trump's ideology. He came across Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro cites an economist in his books that he uses as his reasoning for why tariffs and stuff work. The name of the economist is Ron Vora.
So that's his name, like
It's his
rearranged.
name. Ron Vora doesn't exist. It is
Yeah.
an anagram of his name. And that's it. Like, that's a real story. That's not a theory. That's it. And this motherfucker is still the economic advisor to the White House. He couldn't economics his way out of a fucking sack.
I think I've been on the internet too much today because I'm thinking about a tweet that this reminds me of, and it's just, you think the fall of Rome was this fucking stupid? That's insane. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
When we talk about like Caligula appointed his horse to the Senate,
Yeah.
same
Oh,
fucking thing.
but is that real? Do we know that? I thought that was like a apocryphal. I didn't know if it was real.
It was, here's the thing. He did it as
To like,
as this is how, this is how,
right. To show something, right?
now, but he was also fucking crazy. So, you know, he loved that horse and
I'm put a horse in some of these House of Reps. Real.
in a hot second, I can think of Several. Look, when Andy Bashir's is president, or Andy Bashir, not Bashir's, but Bashir is president in 4 years, we start to make some headway back in the other direction.
Tell people where they can find you.
I'm on the TikTok, Defiance 13. There are a lot of fakes, dupes, if you will.
They DM me all the time. It's real fun.
Congratulations.
I feel really special.
And so I have like 300 and something thousand followers. So if it's not that one, it's the wrong one. I don't have a private messaging account. I will not ask you to buy crypto. I think crypto is hot garbage. That's a whole other thing. Like, what a dumb thing to invest in.
Also, how upsetting that the people impersonating you are trying to get people to buy crypto. That's so rude.
Of anything, of all the things.
Right. Like, sell anything else. Literally anything else.
But crypto, of all the things, okay. And I big hate crypto. I think it's so stupid. I know that there's a lot of people making money at it. And so it doesn't, people will say it doesn't hold water, that I think it's dumb. But the concept of it is absurd.
Fake money in
there's no value. It could go to zero. Like, there's no value.
No, I know.
It's not backed up.
It has gone. Like, you never know. It just,
all those rich people that have convinced you to buy it can go, whoop, and you have nothing.
Yeah.
In a moment.
Including the president, but last time I was talking about the president and his crypto, I was actually, unfortunately, bamboozled into going to a crypto bar and got actually really hard because Donald Trump's crypto is not crypto. It's something else.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't remember because I blacked out.
Is it a meme coin? Is it a meme coin?
Maybe something like that. But as soon as I said it out loud, 5 men in this basement bar turned around and were like, well, actually, it's not crypto. And I was like, oh no, fuck. I was like, I have something to with them.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. Next time you're in New York, you can go to the crypto bar and just ask somebody.
I'd rather eat the curb than do that.
Awesome.
I would rather drink water out of the East River.
First of all, the East River is the cleanest it's been in decades. We have dolphins are coming back, which is a really big deal. Mammals coming back and forth. Yeah. There's also a lot of dead bodies in it still. So just keep that in mind.
Wherever the worst water is in New York, I would rather drink that out of an old boot than go to a crypto bar. I would fight somebody. I would be kicked out of New York City.
No, you can't do that. It doesn't happen. We don't kick people out. We'll kick you out of the bar and you'll get pushed into 6th Avenue and maybe you get hit by a car, but that means you just have to go home.
Yeah. So that's one place they can find me, is on the tickers. I'm on the IG, the Instagram, at Defiance13_ because somebody had already had the other, somebody had already duplicated me on the Instagram. By the time I got to Instagram. I waited 2 months to go to Instagram though. Facebook is Robert Arnold, and then Substack is Robert L. Arnold.
All of that's going to be in the summary. You can look it up. You don't need to.
I am going to be going to, I probably will start transitioning to using my name for most things at some point, because people call me Defiance all the time. I'm like,
could you imagine if that was actually your name?
I'm thinking about changing it there.
It just reminds me of Scandal, because Defiance is the town in Ohio where they rigged the voting machines. Yeah.
That's
you can just tell it when you're a huge Shonda Rhimes fan.
Well, I am.
I don't
know who Shonda Rhimes is, but I'm sure she's great. I'm not a.
She's one of the most famous writers of all time, television writers. Scandal, Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
Bridgerton.
Is she Aaron Sorkin?
No, but I think, look, she's up there, but Shonda Rhimes, hold please. Hold please. Oh, How to Get Away with Murder.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Bridgerton. I mean,
I'm not saying she's not. I just don't know the name.
She's prolific.
Evidently. I feel like the best ones are good for 3 seasons. I think
Well,
I think
after the
Gray's.
fourth season is when the writers change, when their first writer's contract ends. That's what I've heard.
Oh, really?
And once you know that, and you go through 4 seasons, and you get to the 4th season of almost any show, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Because all the good ones go somewhere else as head writers.
And they go make them more money, which they should.
Yeah. Sorkin left West Wing after season 4.
I know.
And it is a different show. I mean, you should still watch the last season or 2, but
the last season or 2, it actually picks back up. But I think 5 and 6 are actually very, very fucking rough. And
it's hard.
It's like immediate, especially if you're binging it, because you can now. You don't have to wait a week, and all of a sudden or like an entire summer for the next season, and you make that switch, and you can like feel it immediately.
Yeah, it's it drags or something. It's Sorkin. It's
slow though. It drops into this like darkness. The commentary slow. Also, Rob Lowe leaves. So that's like a big portion of it.
Newsroom is another really phenomenal great. Sorkin.
But that changes after the first season too. But he's still there.
Sorkin stayed up there all 3 seasons.
I know, but it like something happens. It's
he didn't want to do the 3rd season. But I think he was trying to do commentary like on. I think it was supposed to change. Like I think it's supposed to be a different. You can't keep pushing that same like lover storyline into the 2nd season. Like people tire of it. I don't know. It is weird though because he's going through the whole libel thing, and
I think they just makes the characters a little too much of their character. You know, if they get like a little. Like Sloane is like a little too clumsy and a little too weird, and I'm like, that's not how a woman with a PhD in economics would be.
Yeah, I think people think they doll into him. Well, I think that happens oddly enough in a lot of shows where they find this thing that people identify with that, like Joey and Friends. Like he gets a lot dumber as the seasons progress. It's they write to that because first season he is not that guy.
No.
But I mean,
he's from Staten Island. He's got street smarts. You know, what are we doing?
So yeah, I get it. All right, what else you got for me?
We're done.
I'm on Substack. I already said that though. Right?
Substack. I'm ending the recording. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for following The Foolish Optimist. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. We're going to be dropping new episodes every Wednesday, and you can watch the video episodes on YouTube. If you would like to, please give us a review, leave comments. You can also email us at thefoolishoptimistpodcast@gmail.com. If you see any really great candidates that I should be talking to, send them my way.